chance anymore of Golden State. Sometimes there's a team you just can't beat, and that team was Golden State for Houston. You had a chance in Game 6 2 years ago.
Hey guys, it's Coin Crazy, and I want to show you my brand new General Electric clock radio. I am stoked that I was able to pick this up on eBay for $50 out the door. That included shipping and everything. And I could not be more blessed because these things sell, this particular model. I've seen comparables in different colors. They made these in 3 or 4 different colors. You know, this was made in 1955, 56, and 57. And they made these in kind of a pink color, aqua color, all the 50s pastel-like colors. And these things sell for $100, $150, $200, $300 in this condition. So I'm really blessed that I was able to get this for $50 out the door, and it's fully functional. It works. And that's one of the selling points, one of the reasons I bought it. You can see the clock there. It's not set. I've got to get it set. The radio works. It doesn't sound like it needs to be recapped, which in the radio world is meaning the capacitors, which store energy, the electronics need to be sometimes replaced on these older models. And so I'll probably still recap this just to be safe, but it sounds and works great. It's been well taken care of, one owner family, and was purchased in an estate sale, flipped on eBay, and here it is to me. So I'm really the second person to truly own it and use it, third person to actually own it. It's in great shape, and I love mid-century modern. And if you're not familiar with what mid-century modern is where, you know, kind of the 50s, 60s, 70s, that design style, applying it to various home decor, implementing it or adding it, I don't know what the word would be, incorporating it, that's what it would be, incorporating it into your home decor. So for example, this is on a nightstand, and I have a really modern lamp right here. I've got really modern furniture, really modern frame, a little sign here, just a little, modern stuff. But on this, I also have a vintage clock radio, which I fully am going to use, and a vintage coaster. I bought a coaster set at an antique store the other day. So not too bad. This is pretty cool. I love that design. I like incorporating things from the 50s and 60s primarily into my modern environment of 2019, 2020. And I'm going to give you a few tips here. I just don't want to show you the radio. I want to give you something that's informative and useful. If you think this video is cool per se, and you say, hey, I'm going to go and buy a similar radio, or I'm going to go buy an old radio or an old electronic of some type, and it's made out of plastic like this one is, or Bakelite. Sorry, I got green marker all over my hands. But plastic or Bakelite, which Bakelite is kind of like a plastic-like material, and it's very similar to plastic. It's made out of formaldehyde and a bunch of other things. If you decide you want to go buy an old electronic made out of plastic or Bakelite and you need to clean it, a great cleaner is Brasso. Brasso is a metal polish and it's abrasive. So it comes out like a toothpaste, and like your toothpaste, many of them, if you feel it in between your hands, it feels kind of like there's little tiny pieces of sand in there, like very, very small pieces. Well, the same is true for, it's kind of gritty. The same is true for Brasso. And so with Brasso, you take a little bit of it, you put it on the plastic here, or the Bakelite, and you take a microfiber cloth and you go back and forth, or side to side. Now, you never want to use Brasso. It's abrasive, so you got to be smart about when you use it on. You don't want to use it on plastic that's reflective like this, where you can see, it's reflective, or painted like these. Part of the clock here is painted onto the plastic, or where it's clear, because if you use Brasso, you're going to leave scratch marks, you're going to take this paint off, you're going to ruin it. So you got to be selective and smart about where you use Brasso, but it's great for old plastic electronics and or Bakelite radios and electronics. The second thing is, if you go to Goodwill, Salvation Army, eBay, whatever, and you buy an old electronic like this, you must follow this tip. okay? First and foremost, you want to make sure that if you decide to plug in an old electronic, that you're sure that you want to plug it in. If you plug it in and something is bad inside, a component, a capacitor, this electronic may not have been powered on for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. It may not be able to handle all of a sudden that jolt of electricity that you're throwing in at it. Maybe some component has gone bad. And by plugging it in, you might not only further damage that component, but it might also cause other components that relied on that component to go bad, or could cause a chain reaction effect, which then puts you in a position where you may not have, it might damage some parts that you may not be able to easily replace or replace at all. So keep that in mind. Be certain that you want to plug it in before making sure it's electronically sound. It should be you make sure it's electronically sound and then you plug it in, but I have to tell you, I haven't always followed that advice. I have an Admiral TV that I just bought, and I was so excited. I plugged it in right when I got home, and I made a video. It's on my YouTube. You can see the TV working, and it hasn't been plugged in decades, and it came from an estate. And I can tell you that about 5 minutes of having it plugged in, all of a sudden it started to smoke in the back, some very toxic chemicals, and thankfully all the windows were open. We were prepared. We shut it off immediately at the power cube and the surge protector, and now I have a chassis, which is part of the TV, where I have some capacitors I have to replace. I have to replace a bunch of shit because I decided to turn it on and test it out. But that's okay. It needed to be done. Thankfully, it wasn't anything major that got damaged, just a capacitor blew. But anyway, then the second thing is, this is the third tip, and really it should be the first because it is the most important. This right here is a power cord to my iPhone here. You can see the power cord to the radio here. Just in case, I have it plugged into a surge protector, and then I have it plugged into a Wi-Fi outlet. I'm going to keep this thing plugged into that Wi-Fi outlet for a couple days so I can monitor it, make sure that it's okay, it's safe, it's functioning, it's not going to catch on fire. And if for some reason something does go wrong, instead of leaving it plugged in and trying to figure out the surge protector, maybe it's dangerous I can shut the power off via my phone, which is nice. Plus, it's a surge protector, really nice APC surge protector. But anyway, this is not the point that I'm trying to make. You can see the cord there. It's an old cord. It's grody. It's dirty. What you want to do on any old electronic, first and foremost, is you want to take your hands and you want to take 2 fingers at least and start feeling up on that cord. Start from one end, the very tip, and go all the way to the very end. Okay, so you'd start there, go all the way on the cord up until the back of that radio. The reason why is you're going to feel before you see any breaks in this insulating wire. So in this insulation that surrounds the electrical wire, the wire that carries the juice to the device. And let's say that this wire becomes brittle and it starts to break over time, and sometimes you can't see all those little cracks and breaks and so forth. And so it's important that they're there, because if you plug this in and there's a big break right here, let's say some of this insulation has come off and the wires are exposed, and you plug it in and you touch it or it touches you, it could be life-threatening. It could be fatal. You could just electrocute you and you could die right then and there. Or if it touches some surface like a carpet or water or a fuel source of some type, could cause a fire, and that in turn could also be life-threatening. So you want to feel for any cracks or missing insulation or possible issues in the cord, because you may have to replace the cord, which is super easy. You can order the cords on eBay or online. You can go to the Walmart and pick up lamp cords that work most of the time, and it takes a little bit of soldering knowledge, but it's not hard at all. You watch a few YouTube videos and you can probably get it all by yourself, but you may have to replace the cord on your device. And if there are some issues and they're just minor, like you see like a break in the insulation here, then just get some handy dandy electrical tape, Make sure it's rated very high. It can withstand high temperatures, and wrap that baby up. But if your cord starts looking like an art project or a zebra because there's so many stripes with electrical tape, you need to replace the cord. Don't take a chance. Your life is not worth seeing the device on. So just 2 tips from a guy that doesn't know anything. So anyway, listen to this. This is how the old alarm clock sounded back in the 50s. Let me see if I can get this to work. Okay, I think if I go there, I still have to figure this out, you guys. You can see the red. There we go. Now, what does that remind you of? To me, that reminds me of my dryer, or it reminds me of some opening scenes of movies that I've seen where it starts off and the clock radio's going off. Or it reminds me of like a basketball game for some reason. But this thing is super cool. I'm really proud to own it. And I hope you guys found this video somewhat entertaining. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.